Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Nicole and I sell vintage home decor on Etsy, and I have a small booth at an antique mall. Today I am going to be sharing my sales from May. I do this every month, so I'll be sharing with you everything that sold from my shop and how much profit I made. So this month I had a total of 39 sales. 39 orders is the most I've ever gotten in one month, and that's going to be a lot to cover in one video, so I am going to buzz through these very quickly with little to no background or explanation on each piece, just for the time's sake of the video. So the first thing I sold was this vintage miniature Jesus picture. It was teeny tiny, like 2 inches long. It was really tiny. That had been in my shop for almost a year at this point, because I started my shop last June, so it's been open for about a year now. And I purchased that item for $1, sold it for $18, and made a total profit of $14.68. Next, I sold this vintage Talavera Mexican pottery bird. I purchased this item for $3.98. I sold the item for $38 and made a total profit of $29.68. Next, I sold this vintage brass carousel horse. This is one of my favorite things I've put in my shop. I just love brass items. I purchased this item for $8.92. I sold it for $38 and I made a profit of $6.37, which, if you're wondering why the profit on that one is so low, it's because this past month, I didn't realize this until a few days ago, but I got a lot of shipping adjustments on my items, which means that the post office reported my items being heavier than they actually were, that I didn't properly report. So I actually stopped doing calculated shipping on my Etsy shop as of a couple days ago, and I'm going to start shipping with Pirate Ship. And I just did a flat fee of $5.99 shipping for everything on my shop, and I think that will just help with this, because I was getting some like crazy high shipping adjustment fees, which you'll see throughout this video. Hopefully I won't have that issue anymore. And to clarify, if you're not completely familiar with what I'm talking about with the shipping adjustments, basically if you ship through Etsy, when you do your listing, you'll put the item's weight on Etsy, but I guess you're also supposed to estimate how much the box and packaging materials are going to weigh, which I haven't been doing that. I've just been putting the exact weight of the item, and my packages were coming out to be like 2 or 3 times the weight of the actual item, and so I was getting fees for that. Initially, I went through and I just added a pound to every listing, but then some of the shipping was so expensive and that didn't feel right either, so I just decided to do the flat rate and increase my prices a little bit to cover the additional shipping cost, and just do it through a third party so I don't keep having this issue. And that way, by shipping through Pirate Ship is completely free, and I noticed that their rates are sometimes even lower than Etsy. So now with Pirate Ship, when I get an order, I'll pack the order up, and once it's all packaged, then I'll buy the shipping label. So once it's all packaged, I'll weigh it and measure it, and that way everything is accurate and I won't have this issue anymore. So that'll be really nice. Next, I sold this pair of mini Dutch ovens with crab handles. I purchased these for $3. I sold them for $24 and made a total profit of $14.11. Next is this hand-painted ceramic blue bowl. I purchased this item for $3.75. I sold it for $28 and made a total profit of $17.24. Next, I sold this brass shell trivet. I purchased this for $2.99. I sold it for $38 and made a total profit of $29.27. Next, I sold this solid brass fan that hangs up on the wall. I purchased this for $5.25, sold it for $28, and made a total profit of $20.73. Next, I sold this vintage brass serving tray. You might remember this one from my last video because I had 2 of them, which is always really exciting to find multiples of one item. So I purchased this for $2.98. I sold it for $38 and made a total profit of $30.51. Next, I sold this vintage etching by the maker Franklin Mint, and I purchased this for $7.50. I sold it for $34 and made a total profit of $22.34. Next, I sold this strawberry shaped ceramic dish. I purchased this item for $2.99, sold it for $38 and made a total profit of $30.62. Next, I sold this pair of brass mirror candle sconces. If you saw my sourcing online unboxing video, you'll remember these. I listed them separately, but the same buyer purchased both of them. So I got these off of eBay for $63.99. I sold them for $208. They were $104 each, so $208 total, and made a total profit of $119.74. Those sold within like a week or two after I listed them on Etsy, which was very exciting. Next, I sold these cat tapestry placemats. I purchased them for $2. I sold them for $28 and made a total profit of $22.67. Next, I sold this vintage brass candle snuffer. I have learned that candle snuffers sell really quickly. Whenever I've listed them, they sell within a couple days or a week. They're not super valuable, but they do sell quickly. So I purchased this one for $1.28. I sold it for $18 and made a total profit of $14.37. Next, I sold this owl on a wooden base. It's a brass owl. I purchased this item for $12.93. I got it off of Mercari. I sold it for $38 and made a total profit of $18.61. Next, I sold this pair of Homeco ceramic ducks. These were super cute. Unfortunately, I lost money selling this item. So I purchased these ducks for $5.23. I sold them for $18. And then after all the fees, I also got another shipping adjustment fee of almost $12. So I lost 79 cents selling these. So that was a bummer. Next, I sold this Franklin Mint, the Crane of the Quiet Bamboo etching. I purchased this for $7.50. I sold it for $34 and made a total profit of $22.30. Next, I sold this Italian alabaster trinket box. I purchased this for $10.74. I sold it for $38 and made a total profit of $22.94. Next, I sold this tea set, which was very exciting. I purchased this tea set for only $15. I sold it for $148 and made a total profit of $117.42. Next, I sold this brass shoehorn. I purchased this for $11.25. I sold it for $34 and made a total profit of $18.86. Next is this white ceramic bunny planter. I purchased it for $16. I sold it for $28 and made a total profit of $8.53. Next is this pottery vase. I purchased for $3. I sold it for $28 and made a total profit of $21.44. Next is this adorable angel figurine that was holding a bunny. I purchased this for $2.98, sold it for $28 and made a total profit of $15.05. Next, I sold this butterfly needlepoint pillow. I got this item off of Mercari. This was also in my sourcing online unboxing video, if you remember that. I purchased this item for $24.86. I sold it for $124, which is absolutely crazy for a pillow, but I scoured the internet and I could not find this pillow for sale anywhere else. I had seen one listing that I think had sold for around $90. So I took advantage of how rare it was. I personally thought it was beautiful. I listed it for $124, and sure enough, it sold within weeks. And I made a total profit of $86.51. Next, I sold this brass Italian vase. I purchased this item for $5. I sold it for $48 and made a total profit of $36.25. Next, I sold this wicker trash bin. I purchased it for $2.99, sold it for $38 and made a total profit of $30.30. Next is another wicker item. This was a basket. I purchased this basket for $2.98. I sold it for $18 and made a total profit of $12.67. Next is another high ticket item. This is a Havilland Limoges. I don't know how to say that. It's French. A French porcelain platter. This brand is highly collectible. I purchased this platter for $7.50. I sold it for $74 and made a total profit of $58.64. I actually saw a couple more of these platters that were similar when I was outsourcing today at the same thrift store that I originally purchased it from, but I think that they are catching on that this particular dishware is valuable because they had it for sale for like $30 or $40. So I passed on that. They're realizing that some of their stuff is valuable. And sometimes I'm willing to pay up, but it just, yeah. This one took a little while to sell. I know that these have a buyer, but yeah. That's the only reason I didn't pay up for the one I sold today. Next, I sold this small round basket. I purchased it for $2.98, sold it for $22, and made a total profit of $14.16. Next, I sold this Italian wall mirror that I got from a vintage market. I purchased it for $19. I sold the mirror for $56 and made a total profit of $30.92. Next, I sold this little canister. I purchased it for $2.99. I sold it for $22 and made a total profit of $17.38. I've also been noticing that little trinket dishes sell really well. Little trinket dishes that are between like $22 and $30 sell pretty quickly for me. So I'm gonna start stocking up on those more because people love them. Next, I sold my second antique French velvet crucifix. You might remember this from a previous video. I had two of them. I purchased this item for only $2. This is still like one of my craziest sales to date. So I purchased it for $2. I sold it for $138 and made a total profit of $120.87. Next, I sold this brass floral vanity tray. I purchased it for $1.50. I sold it for $62 and made a total profit of $53.75. Next are these Italian candlestick holders. I purchased these for $2.99, sold them for $36 and made a total profit of $22.62. Next is this ceramic lidded bowl. I purchased this for $5.25, sold it for $32 and made a total profit of $16.27. Next, I sold this cowboy lithograph print. I think that this was a movie poster. I purchased this item for $6.75. I sold it for $32 and made a total profit of $21.55. I was extremely stressed out about shipping this because it was just a piece of paper, but what I ended up doing, if anyone out there is trying to ship similar items, it actually wasn't that bad. I just took 2 pieces of cardboard that I cut from boxes, sandwiched it in there, taped around that, and it was good to go. Next, I sold this hand-painted little Italian picture. I purchased it for $1. I sold it for $24 and made a total profit of $20.08. Next, I sold this adorable duck planter. I purchased it for $6.75. I sold it for $24 and made a total profit of $14.09. And then lastly, I sold this Mexican feather art piece. I purchased it for $13. I sold it for $32 and made a total profit of $15.31. So that is everything I sold for the month of May. I was really happy with this month, actually, mainly because I only worked like 1 week out of the month of May. I had multiple weeks where my fiance and I had visitors in town that were staying at our house, and then I was also working on my application for grad school for like a week straight. That's an amazing thing too about running my own business now, is I had the luxury to have that time to focus on other things. But yeah, the previous month, so April, I got my listings up really high to about 250 listings, which is the most I've ever had on my shop, and it just really paid off last month. So I'm feeling great about that. I am working now on getting my listings back up again. I have an even higher goal now than I did previously. I would like to get 400 listings on my shop, and hopefully I can double my profits by doing that, but we'll see. I know that the summer tends to be a slower month for resellers. I hope to kind of defy that, but we'll see how it goes. So let's add this all up. I am not going to be adding all these numbers with my calculator like I did last time. I'm actually going to find the proper way to do this on Google Docs. For the month of May, my Etsy shop made me a total profit of $1,205.69. That is the most profit I've ever gotten in 1 month from my Etsy shop. I've been doing Etsy for about a year now. I took like an 8-month break though because my house flooded from a hurricane, but I have been doing this full time for 3 months now. So I actually set a goal for myself when I quit my job that I wanted to hit a total profit of $1,200 by my 3rd month in, which the end of May marked 2.5 months full time. So I hit that goal. I'm very excited about that, and hopefully I can keep going up from here. I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or if you also have an Etsy shop and have any insights, feel free to leave them below. If you enjoyed this video, I make these videos every single month where I go through everything that I sold and my profits, and I post new videos every Thursday, so feel free to subscribe. I just recently hit 100 subscribers and I'm really excited about that. So thank you to everyone who subscribed and for everyone watching this video right now, and I will see you in the next one.